The Calendar Killer is your typical boilerplate thriller scenario, featuring a ticking clock, a serial killer, and an undercurrent of domestic abuse explored through the lens of its characters. At the center of this is Clara, who's going to die unless she kills her husband, Martin, instead. The Calendar Killer is on the loose again, and after a string of unresolved murders, has Clara's life firmly in the palm of his hands. When Jules starts his night shift at a telephone safety helpline for lonely women on their way home, Clara manages to get through to him. As fate would have it, Jules soon becomes her last hope for survival and races against time to save her. After a first half mired in mystery and a loose subplot surrounding Clara's mental state, she eventually runs into a man named Hendrik, who picks her up by the side of the road. Acting like a good Samaritan, his actions are, unfortunately, misconstrued by her jealous, abusive politician husband, Martin. Martin finds Clara, beats down Hendrik, and drives back home with Clara. On the way, he reprimands her and twists the abuse he unleashes and blames her for everything. He claims she's provoking him and let it happen all these years. Clara brings up the club that he took her to, which is the catalyst for a lot of her internal demons, and through flashes we do see parts of this abuse, which Martin willingly allowed. When Clara eventually heads home, she outsmarts Martin, locking him in the car and racing up the stairs to be reunited with her daughter, Amelie. However, she instead sees that Jules is there. After he ate a block of butter earlier in the movie, and the camera panned across a calendar, it was perhaps always obvious that he was our killer. Here, though, we get proper confirmation of that fact. Jules has a knife and he forces her out the bedroom. He explains that he's given Amelia a sleeping pill to keep her sedated, and with Martin locked inside his car, Clara is given her terrible choice. It's time to choose whether it's her life or Martin's that will be spared. Jules continues to monologue, though, explaining that he's installed cameras in every room. He makes swift work of Clara, tying her down and making her choose. Martin manages to break free and sneaks into the house. He arrives with a golf club, ready to take out Jules, but he makes swift work of the guy. He beats him down and knocks him out. However, they didn't account for HC outside, where he finds another body. Jules then reveals his past and just why he became the Calendar Killer. His own wife Dejana took her life after battling depression for years. Dejana was abused by her father, which led her to face devastating mental health issues later in her life. One day, ready to end it all, Dejana locked her kids in a room so that they didn't have to witness the sight of her committing suicide in the bath. Jules wasn't there and she thought she was doing them all a favor. However, a fire broke out, and before Dejana could do anything, everyone was burned to death save for one daughter, Fabiana. She was taken to hospital where, unfortunately, she passed away too. Jules saw all of this take place and it broke something inside him, struggling to deal with the grief and depression threatening to swallow him whole. Jules then made it his mission to seek out families where the women were subjected to domestic abuse. He always gave a choice to the women to kill their partner, but when they refused, he'd kill the female. All of this is done under the guise of his job, of course, which makes it the, almost, perfect crime. Jules is a man possessed and doing this for redemption. Clara is given a knife and looks set to kill Martin, but instead stabs Jules right in the foot. He stalks her through the house, leaving blood everywhere, and eventually decides to kill Clara. However, just before he does, the spectacled man from earlier in the film arrives and shoots him down. He's been following Clara all this time and happens to be the same guy Clara ran from before ending up with Hendrik. The man explains that Jules is his son and he's been following her all this time in order to try and save her. He wants to keep her safe. Jules' father recognized the handwriting from the walls and on the news, and apparently nobody else in Jules' life has come to the same conclusion. Clara and Amelia are reunited, and as time passes, Martin turns the whole endeavor to a political win. He briefs the public and looks set to profit off this, until the audio recordings of his abuse makes the rounds. Everybody in attendance listens to Martin's words, and as they do, it now becomes clear that Clara recorded her conversation with Martin in the car. This explains why she goaded him so, intending to use this against him after the incident at the club. Martin is arrested while Clara watches on, dressed in black as if she's saying goodbye to this relationship and moving forward with her life. As she walks away, we cut across to a newspaper clipping where we see that Martin Vernay has been given 5 years behind bars for his abuse. As for Amelia and Clara, they move forward with their lives.